Join Gator great Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning, sports fans. It's Pot Up with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We got JC here momentarily. A lot of stuff going on in the sports world. We'll take your comments and questions throughout the day. Let's go ahead and get JC in. We got a lot to talk about. Good morning, JC. You're on the Titan MR hotline.
Yeah, a little brisk today. I got a little 30-degree weather go in. Bring in your pots and plants if you don't want them to die. Yeah, good morning. It was an exciting weekend, but a crazy weekend in the NFL yesterday. Bowl season, as I guess you could say, it started. Florida's game, I don't know if it could have gone worse. And other than that, you know, we're kind of getting close to SEC basketball. And I certainly think that the NFL is really, to me, yesterday was just a crazy day. How New England lost, and of course the game in Jacksonville yesterday was entertaining. And then here come the Detroit Lions now at 500, playing for a playoff spot, if you can believe this. The way Minnesota came back, greatest comeback, or biggest comeback in NFL history, which was utterly ridiculous. So it's crazy. I mean, this is the league is not it is delivering on its on some real exciting entertainment.
Yeah, we'll get into the NFL here a little bit later. We'll first recap the Gator game. It was pathetic. I don't know how else to put it. It was not one person has anything positive to come out of that game. Coach, player. I think the biggest thing, I thought Jack Miller would play better. His second, third, and fourth drives, he played pretty well. Other than that, though, he ran for his life. The thing that surprised me the most, and I really thought we beat Oregon State after watching them on tape, because they're very vanilla, they're sound, but I'm just like they look like Florida State to me defensively. They whipped our ass on the line of scrimmage. It was unbelievable on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't stopped anybody on the defensive side, but the thing that shocked me the most was the offensive line. When I tell you we had zero chance to – at halftime, I was telling Sean Kelly, I was like, I would not call another run play the entire game. I would call a pass. Now, not that we could block them in pass protection, but we had zero chance in the run game because they were in our backfield penetrating before we could even hand it off to one of the tailbacks. So it was just it was not very good. It is what it is. The season's over. We have got to recruit. We have got to coach. We got to do everything. And Jeremy says AR was trash. I don't know what that means, buddy. Anthony wouldn't have done nothing in this game because I'm telling you right now, the strength of our football team is ETN and Montrell Johnson. And I think Montrell had one 14-yard run. Other than that, I think every run was like negative. It was I was shocked. But give Oregon State credit. They've won 10 games. They're sound. They're not going to wow you. But they played well. And, I mean, they're a 10-win team. And we're a 6-win team. So there you have it.
And Jonathan Smith has done a good job there. He, when he first started coaching there, they weren't very successful, but they stuck with it, right, QB? And he hung around and built him something pretty good there at Oregon State. And their program is on the upswing. They're getting a new stadium or an upgrade to their stadium. I don't know. I just think that, this is the third year in a row Florida's postseason has been more or less an embarrassment. I mean, last year, I don't even remember who they lost to, but it was awful. The year before that was the Cotton Bowl. That was a fiasco. And then this presentation here, it's just not a good look. And I don't know. I mean, it's not like I'm going to go back
because we got here's the common denominator. And I know people, they could take shots at me. I could care less because I can handle it, folks, because I've been booed by hundreds of thousands of people in the National Football League. It does not bother me one bit. You have your opinions. I have mine. Okay. You can say Billy Napier, Patrick Toney, this coach, that coach cannot coach. I get it. You can say Dan Mullen can't coach. You can say John Hevesy can't coach. You can say Todd Grantham can't coach. That's fine. The bottom line is we're 12 and 24. Is that right? No, 12. Yeah. 12 and 24. That ain't right. 12 and 14.
It's the
last 2 seasons. Okay. Think about that. 12 and 14. Okay. You've had about 25 coaches on this staff and 25 coaches on this staff coaching the same, pretty much, I would say 90% of the same players. It's not, nobody has a secret ingredient that has different ball plays than the other coaching staff. As I've told everybody, whether it's Steve Spurrier, Bill Belichick, Sean McVay, Nick Saban, nobody has a secret plays that they run. You know, you got to know when to call them and when to coach them. But my biggest thing is, it's just amazing to me. We just aren't very good. I don't know how else to put it that way. I think fans need to realize, I've said the roster will be SEC caliber year 3. I hope it becomes year 2 because I think it's imperative. We have got to win no less than 8 games next year. No less. And I don't know why. And people can sit here and tell me our schedule's hard. Oh, bull crap. Okay. If you look at this year's schedule, okay, I know we've played more ranked teams than anybody else in America. That's a fact due to the ranking system. But if you're going to sit here and tell me that South Carolina's a good football team, I'm going to tell you they're not. I don't care where they're ranked. I saw them in person. I don't think they're very good. I don't think Kentucky's very good. I don't think Vanderbilt's very good. I don't think Missouri's very good. Okay. Those 4 teams we should not ever lose to again, in my opinion. Well, would you agree with that or no?
Yeah, no. I mean, if you want to be an elite program instead of a mediocre program, you win those games and you win them convincingly. You don't just win them 20 to 19. You win those games and you don't lose to unranked teams. And you have to develop consistency, QB. I mean, that's the definition of a team that's on the uprise. And listen,
hang on a second. Jeremy says here, it's not the players. We have way better talent than Oregon State, so please stop with that excuse. Plain and simple. You just never want to blame any. Really? Did you not listen to what I just said, Jeremy? I said we got to coach better. But y'all loved Dan Mullen for a long time, did they not? Did the Gator Nation JC love Dan Mullen for a long time? Answer the question.
Yes, everybody loved Dan Mullen.
Yes.
They loved him.
Well, so when Dan Mullen had to coach Dan Mullen recruited players, we went this way. Okay, that's what we're dealing with right now. So does Billy and his staff need to recruit better? Absolutely. But if you're going to sit here and tell me
lost you. Lost you, QB.
A 5-star, play like you were a 5-star. So anyway.
Well, QB, unfortunately, that last 30 seconds we didn't get. But I listen. You have to find better. Yeah, there's no doubt they've got to. But to attract those players, you got to sell something to them. And everybody.
But that's what you got to win football games to attract players.
Sure, you do. And I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunity. That's one of the things that's attractive about Florida is if you come here, you're probably going to get a really good shot to play, hit the field early in your college career, I would think, because right now you need wholesale changes over here. Now they've got the coach I think that they need, but here's the thing: he's 6-7. He's had this team since the summer, and right now I can't say that they're a C-, if that. And that game the other day was an F. So it's okay because they're trying to find players, and I see that. And Jack Miller had no chance on Saturday. I mean, like you said, he was running for his life.
It wouldn't have mattered if we'd had Rex Grossman playing. I could not believe how poor the strength of our team this year was the offensive line. I guess Osiris Torrance is such a good player that he allowed all 4 other linemen to be that great. Because when I tell you, I have not seen a college offensive line get dominated like they got dominated. I was blown away. But anyway, enough of that. Everybody has their own opinion, and you have your right. But there's a common denominator in this thing. Okay, right? I'm just saying.
Well,
I'm just saying.
I would just hope that, I would just hope that when is signing day? Isn't it coming up on the 21st? Is that what it is?
I don't know when this early signing period. I want to say maybe it's next week. I don't even know. I don't follow it enough, but we got to
It's
get people out of the
important.
portal. We're definitely getting a quarterback out of the portal.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of names out there, kids that aren't in the portal yet that I think will be coming here. So we'll see.
Yeah. Just
Bottom line is,
throw it.
Brandon says Cameron Wake should stick to basketball. Well, he's a project. We'll see. He didn't play great. That's the first time he's played in a college football game. He played against a sound team defensively. We'll see if he gets better. JC, you said last week Gators get a C- for the season. I thought that was harsh.
Do you? You
hang
like
on.
7? I mean, I don't know.
I know.
What's the average? Tell me what average is.
Well, I can't find the damn thing goes away. It drives me crazy on here.
I don't know why it's so harsh. You tell me one good team they beat, other than Utah, of course, in the first game. But you tell me why 6-6 is better than average, and then you give me an excuse for that fiasco in Vegas. I mean, they went a long way to show.
Well, I don't think people. I thought we would win. Most Gator fans thought we weren't. We had no chance. You said we had no chance. Y'all were correct. I was wrong. I watched the tape. I didn't watch a whole lot of tape, but I'm just like, they just did surprise me. This text says, how bad is Kingsley playing, Shane? I've never seen a center penalized. Yeah, it was terrible. There was zero crowd noise, and we go on a clap. Usually you have legal procedures when you have a new quarterback because of the voice inflection, different change of the voice in the snap cam. But we go on a clap. It was just not a good outing. It is what it is. The season is over.
Yes,
and
you got it. The hot stove league is ready to go. They got to get players, QB. We've been harping on this since freaking September. Come on. I mean, after Kentucky beat the Gators here at Florida Field, that's all I needed, was to see that maybe I overreacted after week 1, thinking something that just wasn't true. And then here we go, and they just very, very, very average. And maybe
now, if you go back and watch the Utah game, we made a few plays here and there, and they made a ton of mistakes.
That game was about it's just throw it away. They're going to a Rose Bowl. Okay, Utah's fine, but this team will have a lot of rebuilding to do. But here's the thing, and I keep saying this, and I believe it to be true because I've seen it happen. It shouldn't take 4 years to rebuild your program anymore. And we've got 2 examples of teams that were pathetic last year. I mean, pathetic, losing records last year. One playing in the semifinal, the other one playing in the Cotton Bowl. And there's probably some other examples out there, QB. It can happen quickly if you have everything in place. But here's the thing also that bothers me, and people were talking about, this guy's got 400 administrative staff on payroll. He's got 300 assistant coaches. He's got this bloated inventory of personnel. What did that get you this year? And what's it going to get you in the next 2-3 years? So let's just see what happens.
Well, we don't know that. I mean, we didn't expect it to all happen in 1 year. That's what I try to tell people. Like I said, you go back and you watch these shows from August and July. I said, if we win 6 games, it'd be a great year. If we win 7, it would be a miracle. Okay. Because that's how bad our roster was.
I think we all said 7 and 5.
No, some of these people said 8 and 9, blah, blah, blah. So, Brandon says, should we see portal guys committing to UF this week, QB? I would think. I know some of their portal guys supposedly that they're gonna go, that are coming or supposed to be coming, are still not in the portal. So we'll see. But the bottom line is, it was a great trip, a very quick trip. I think it was a good experience for the kids. A lot of kids hadn't been out west before. So anyway. Michael says, do y'all believe that the QB Miller will have a shot at starting next year? If he's on the roster, he'll be given a chance, but they're going to bring in their starter. Their starter will be coming from the portal. Book that. You can.
And then don't forget this hot recruit.
Yeah, but here's the thing I try to tell these people.
Yeah.
It's great. He's a 5-star quarterback coming in. When is the last time a major university started a true freshman quarterback?
I'd have to think about that.
Yeah, and you're going to be extremely hard to find one.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I prefer somebody with a little game experience. This kid Leary from NC State. Nobody's really talking about him. I don't know. Nobody knows where he's going to go. But listen, NC State was not the same team when he didn't play, and they were very competitive when he did. Maybe he could be a help here. I think anybody that looks at Florida has to say to themselves, "Is that the kind of place I want to play at?" Well, I don't know why you wouldn't. And then secondly, you're going to play in big games in the SEC. You're going to be in the spotlight. You're going to have primetime matchups. It's a very attractive opportunity, and there's a lot of opportunity. I guess that's what my point is today, is after watching that and seeing the season, there will be opportunities for a lot of good players to come and play now. And that's what happened at TCU. That's what happened at Tulane. That's what happened at some of these other schools, that the opportunity became present now. And so this is hopefully something that the players will see as an attractive entity, or an attractive, I guess, destination to play now. And that's what transfer portal guys want, isn't it, QB? Otherwise, they would probably stay where they were or where they are.
Well,
they
a lot of it has to do with money. Dan says Tua did Tua play as a true freshman? I thought he was a redshirt freshman.
Tua played. No, they didn't redshirt Tua. He jumped right in there at the end of the season against Georgia. And
at the end of the season, that's my point. He didn't play at all during the regular season. Yeah.
No, he didn't. No, that was Jalen Hurts. And that freshman year, he won the national title when they were down 10-0 to Georgia, because Jalen Hurts couldn't throw a 15-yard pass. And so they benched Jalen Hurts. And then Tua just went crazy, and the legend began right there and there. But he was a freshman. He was not redshirt. No.
Yeah. A lot of people are asking about Jack Miller. My impressions on Jack hasn't changed a bit. I thought he played well at times. I thought he played bad at times, but he missed a couple of throws I thought he should have hit, just like Anthony's missed some. I thought he was composed for the most part. I mean, the dude had no chance. Let's just say that. I don't care. I'm not taking sides here. I'm just evaluating what I saw. He had zero chance dropping back in this game because of protection schemes. It was horrible.
It was rough. I don't know how much max protect we didn't have, but my God, this kid was it was almost overwhelming. And listen, it was his first time on the field, dude. I mean, this guy's playing his first game on December the 18th. Now I know he's had a broken thumb, and so he hasn't been able to work a lot and do a lot of things. It was kind of unfortunate to expect, I think, any more than we got.
We got an anonymous texter here that we need to send him flowers or balloons or something. He says the Gator program is dead. The Gators are the laughing stock of college football. I don't know why he thinks that.
The last 3 bowl games have been embarrassing. Come on,
right? But nobody remembers it other than if you're a Gator fan. I mean, think about. I mean, how many people around America watch that game? Not me.
Well, QB was the only game on. I mean.
No, people were watching the majority of the country was watching the Vikings and the Colts. I promise you that.
But those are NFL fans. Those aren't college football fans. Yeah, Colts.
Right, but I mean, did Jake Fromm start as a true freshman? I don't think he did. I think he was redshirt. Anyway, my point is, all these people here want to start a true freshman. Oh boy, look out. This is a great question, and I was going to bring this up. If I can get this stupid, why these things go away before I can look at them. Oh, Andy says, Shane, why wasn't the punt protection better on the block punt? Look, our monitors were not working great on replays in the booth, and we were so freaking high. I mean, we were like in the rafters.
Yeah.
Great stadium, by the way. Great stadium. Although it's cool how they have the grass for the Raiders outside and they roll it in. I wish we could have played on that because that turf was terrible. On the block punt, like I said, I'm looking at so much stuff. It looked like to me that our punter, Jeremy Crawshaw, did the rugby style roll into the left, being a right-footed punter is what it looked like to me. Now, maybe he got pressure and went left, but maybe a listener can let me know if y'all saw the replay or whatever, because I thought that's why the punt got blocked. Not so much from a protection standpoint, but rolling left and trying to punt. But maybe I saw it wrong. Like I said, I was looking at some other stuff during the play. Real quick, are you in the market to buy or sell your home? Doreen Weeby, a realtor with Caldwell Banker MM Parish, provide you fast, friendly, reliable service. Call her today at 352-562-1411 to help your dreams come true. Speaking with JC on the Titan Mar Hotline, we're actually going to have Edgar Thompson join us now in the second portion of today's program. Edgar covered the PNC father-son, father-daughter tournament this weekend. Get his thoughts on that as well. And he says he rolled left because 3 guys on the right came on block. Yeah, so it was obviously not very good.
No. No. I'm just thinking, QB, I'm just thinking of when the early signing period comes.
It's in the next week or two.
Well, I think it's this week. I want to say it's before Christmas. So
yeah.
That's important to me because this is where you're going to find out what kind of attraction you're giving to kids. I know they can also sign in February as well, but a lot of folks are making their move before February.
Okay, let me answer this one here and we'll move over. Scott says, love you, Shane. However, most Gator fans are tired of hearing Billy tell us how much they respect the other team and nobody wants to win more than him. Where in the hell did it go? We've got to figure out with Facebook Live how these messages can stay up here when I want to read them and not go away. So anyway, look, Billy, here you can like Billy, you cannot like Billy. I don't care if it's just Coach X. The coach is not going to sit. He said he's got to coach better. He said that multiple times. And he says they got to play better. I'm not the coach. I'm not paid by the University of Florida for doing anything. I can sit here and tell you, in my opinion, Oregon State is a better football team than the Gators. The score indicates that. Oregon State is a more physical football team than the Gators. Oregon State is a more sound team than the Gators, and Oregon State has better players than the Gators. I'm just going to tell you that right now. That's what my eyes told me. So he cannot come out, I guess, Scott, he cannot come out and say, well, our protection was terrible. Our quarterback had no chance. Our quarterback made bad decisions. Okay? So I'm just saying.
Well, we know
I don't
now.
know what do people want him to say, I guess, JC. What do you think he should say to the Gator Nation in a presser? I'm a terrible coach. We got terrible players. We got to get better. I mean, I don't know what these people want him to say.
You can't. Listen, you can't scare folks away from trying to come here.
You can't. Okay, hang on. Jeremy says, why can't he say those things? Because you cannot belittle your players publicly. Well, has anybody ever heard a coach do that?
Maybe in the NFL, but who cares? They're paid. But the point is that you got to attract these kids to come here, to want to play for you. And I know that the results speak more than anything, but it also allows for you to believe that maybe there's going to be some opportunity for me because I'm going to be ahead of whoever's out there getting killed when I get there. I mean, don't you think that that's the silver lining of all this is that there's opportunity now for new players to.
Well, there's a lot of opportunity, but as someone said here, we're getting killed by Miami and recruiting. I disagree with that. We've gone after this. I know this. We've gone after the same player 10 times during this crazy, stupid NIL era. They've gotten 6 players. We've gotten 4. So I don't know how they're not killing us.
You took one from Miami that had committed there.
Yeah. Well, nobody wants to say. See, the Gator fans think you're going to sign everybody in America because they're only looking at it one way. Well, you got to look at it as what's best for that kid. Is it best that he takes more money? You can't blame the kid if that's what he wants. That's his choice. That's what people don't understand. I mean,
but before
look,
the money
I want us to win more than anybody.
Right, but before
I guess
the money
Brian Kelly apparently tells his players they suck. I've never seen him heard him say that.
QB, before the money thing became such an issue, Dan Mullen was recruiting these players, and the reality is that you just got to be a better judge of who's going to contribute and be successful in your program with what you want to do, and doesn't mean you're going to get everybody, but get something out there that can compete at this level. This is an SEC conference. I mean, you don't want to turn into Vanderbilt or Missouri, do you? And I shouldn't downgrade Vanderbilt. I mean, hell, they beat Florida and Missouri could have. So I don't know.
Well, like I try to tell people, it's very simple. Where the program is where the program is. We are 12-14 in the last 2 years.
That's awesome.
You can sit here and talk about what Steve Spurrier did. You can talk about what Urban Meyer did.
None
They're
of that
12 and
matters.
14.
Yeah,
Okay.
none of that matters. Doesn't
None of that
nobody
matters.
cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Um,
Those kids don't
Chris,
care.
let me get to some of these texts. Chris says, Shane, this is why the bowl game should be moved to week 0 the next season as exhibition. They will be attended better and watched more as the first
Yeah.
football of the season. That's true. But again, I need people to realize attendance at bowl games has no bearing on the bowl games. All the money for bowls come from TV. And Alan in Atlanta on the Titan MR text line. He says a great quote. We didn't tackle well today, but we made up for it by not blocking. John McKay. Yeah, John McKay's got some great ones. We didn't tackle well, and we sure the hell didn't block well. All right, another anonymous texter on the Titan MR text line. What is our strategy NIL wise? I don't have a clue. I have nothing to do with that. If it was up to me, we wouldn't pay one player. Looks like our guys are well paid, but we do not overpay for anyone. Major boosters only willing to pay up for QBs. Well, the QB is the most important position, whoever texts this. And if we don't get one next year, we're in trouble. But we're going to get one.
One of my favorite John McKay quotes was they asked him about the team's execution. And he said
he's all for it.
He's all for it. He was in favor of it. Maybe that's where we are right now, QB.
This is from Daryl on the Titan MR text line. He says, good morning. The photos of the golf course in Vegas look nice. JC, I think, was jealous. The Gators were embarrassing. Yeah, it was a great golf course. Southern Highlands. JC Deacon, got to give him a shout out. JC Deacon, our golf coach. That was, I think, the UNLV's home track when he was the head coach out there.
Very nice.
And it was beautiful. It was cold as crap, though.
How about, speaking of UNLV?
Playing short clubs. I had these rentals set.
Yeah. How about UNLV getting Bobby Petrino to draw some ball plays for Barry Odom? For Barry Odom. Barry Odom got him a job now. Vegas is going to score some points. Watch what they do out there. I don't know. I think folks need to get excited about something. My answer is look and see what happens here in the next 2 months in terms of filling out the roster. That's the only thing you've got to look forward to, QB. I don't know what else there is. This year was an abomination. It's over. So
here's what Alan says. Shane, you know damn well HBC would have blasted our ass straight dead on TV. Saban would have too. And that's the difference. That's not true. Coach Spurrier never called out a player. He always said it's not their fault. It's our fault for putting you in the game. We're the dumbasses that put John Cornell in the game.
Oh,
right?
John Cornell might have done something better than whoever on in Vegas. Well, yeah, give me 30 years or 40. But yeah, QB, look, I mean, it's like you said, it's where they are, 12 and 14 last 2 years.
Yeah, like I said, next year is a huge year. I mean, we have got to win 8 games.
No, you said last year. I thought you said last week it had to be 9. But regardless,
well, 8 or 9. I will take 8 right now.
Okay.
But I'm in the belief that you should never, ever lose to South Carolina, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and Missouri. So that's where my mindset
unless that's
is.
who you are. Unless that is what you are, and it seems it's feeling more and more like that's what Florida is. I'm sorry to say, but you're right. That's not good. That's why I said C- and B. I could have gone D+.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, we the season went about exactly how I thought. Real quick, let's talk NFL for you. The Jags. The Jags are in the playoff hunt. They're 1 game out of first place. Trevor Lawrence played outstanding football yesterday.
2 great weeks.
They're fun to watch.
For all the Dallas Cowboy fans out there, just keep in mind your positioning in the playoffs is pretty much set at 5. The way it works is at 5, 6, and 7 are the wild card teams, and 5 will play 4. Tampa Bay is going to win their division with a losing record, QB, and they're going to get a home game. And in all likelihood, Dallas is going to play at Tampa in the playoffs, and that would not have changed yesterday. But for Jacksonville, they are now 1 game behind Tennessee for that division. You're going to have to win that division to get in the playoffs. Tennessee's lost 4 straight, and Jacksonville's had its 2 best games offensively in the last 2 weeks this season. They play at the Jets on Thursday night. Jets are kind of reeling right now. Would anybody be surprised if Jacksonville goes 8-7 after this game? So I went 3-1 on the NFL. I picked Jacksonville plus the 4.5. I took Detroit plus the 2.5. I took Cincinnati minus the 3.5, and I lost Buffalo. Jake hit was 2-2. So I think it's coming out.
Jake went 2-2. I'm trying to look here. I think the Gators playing basketball tonight in Charlotte. I'm trying to look here. I can't find it on my phone. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's tomorrow.
Well,
it's Tuesday. I think they fly there today. Yeah, that's what it is. They play tomorrow.
They play tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, so I watched a lot of the Jags game. I thought they played extremely well. Cowboys, they always like get in control of a game and they blow it somehow.
You just let it get away from them, and it's just kind of the turnovers killed Dallas yesterday. And you gotta give Jacksonville credit for taking advantage of that. But Dallas had that game firmly in control, and yet they do let these things slip away. This is going to be a problem for them. But I think again, their position for the playoffs because of the Eagles and the division that they're in. Their position in the playoffs is pretty much not changed. They're going to be the 5 seed, and they will play at Tampa if Tampa can hold on with a losing record and win that pathetic division. Otherwise, Carolina had a great opportunity yesterday, didn't take advantage. Whoever wins that ridiculous division is going to play Dallas at home in the NFL playoffs. And right now, the Eagles looking like the 1 seed. They'll get the week off, and then 2 will play 7, 3 will play 6, and 4 will play 5. And that's how it's shaping up at this point. Cincinnati got a big win. Cincinnati in the AFC is trying to actually get a 1 or 2 seed. 2 seed is important. Even though you don't get the week off, you won't have to play the 1 seed until the championship weekend if the 1 seed wins its playoff game. So Cincinnati, a big comeback against Tampa yesterday. It was just kind of like a monsoon. They just took control, and Joe Burrow quit making mistakes through 4 touchdown passes. And I love the fact that the Bengals are playing the Bills at home, and the Bengals have a win against Kansas City. If the Chiefs can lose a game, Cincinnati gets the 2 seed. If they beat Buffalo, they get the 1 seed. So anybody is still alive in the AFC. That is a very, very good conference. And those teams, I think, are very good. Good quarterback play.
Real quick, Andy says, how does a Bill Belichick coach team make a mistake like that against the Raiders?
That kid
it's players make plays and players make mistakes.
He didn't know what he was doing. It almost felt like the kid, the New England player, thought they were losing. Because at the very least, you just go down and go to overtime. The game was tied, and he threw it straight to Chandler Jones. And I nobody can understand that. He had 4.5 hours.
First of all, you got to ask the running back, why did you pitch it?
Well, that too. Like, what are these guys thinking? They don't have to score on that play, and I'm almost thinking they thought they were losing, which is just out of character for a Belichick team. But that really hurt their chances yesterday, losing that game.
Maybe Belichick should have gone on here and blasted them, like our fans want Billy to blast our players and people to blast him.
QB in the NFL, I think everybody's fair game.
But have you ever heard a coach call out anybody? That's what I'm asking.
Call out an individual player. I can't point my finger.
I don't think I've ever heard that at any level.
I can't point my finger at it. I'm sure Rex Ryan may have had something to say one day after a bad loss or somebody, but really it doesn't matter. The thing is that in college, especially here at Florida, he is trying to attract players to come here. There is opportunity here, and you don't want to run them off, QB. You don't want to run off. You don't want to be known as a guy that doesn't have the players back, because
he's got the players back. Trust me. All right, we got to get to Edgar, talk golf.
Okay. Golf.
Get Edgar's thoughts. All right, that's JC. Join us on the Titan More Hotline. Take a quick timeout. Come back. We'll be joined by Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel. We'll get his thoughts on him watching the bowl game from afar, but he was also down covering Tiger Woods and his son this weekend. You're watching and listening to Potto and Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peaceland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise.
Campus USA Credit Union.
QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, and watch. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wibby, Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Aver and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate. Where premium brands like Nike, International Diamond Center, Dave & Buster's, Palmetto Moon, Escape Apology, Pfizer's Rooftop, and the HBC's restaurant. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, the #1 celebrity polished casual restaurant in America. We'll see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. We're going to head to the Titan MR Hotline now. We're joined by Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel. Good morning, Edgar. How are you, buddy?
Doing okay. I was complaining to you about a long weekend, and then I thought to myself, hold on now. Shane was all the way in Vegas. You're back now, clearly.
Well,
right?
the good thing about my trip was easy, though, Edgar. I can't imagine. I've been to Vegas where you have to fly commercial, and it's such a pain. The charter flights are easier. It took us 4:40 to get out there and 3:30, 3:27 to get back. So it was easy. Dan's got a question before we jump into some stuff, and I meant to bring this up with JC. I wake up, kind of my sleep schedule is all screwed. I wake up, turning on Fox to watch the pregame NFL stuff while I'm doing stuff around the house, and the World Cup's on. Holy moly. It was like 3-1, I think. Or maybe it was 2-1 and 3. I can't remember.
No, it's
and
2-2.
Well, no, but Argentina had a big lead at one point. I think it was 2-0.
Yeah. Okay, no,
Okay.
I thought you meant the score. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so anyway, they make a late run, and I'm watching this. That's the only time I watched the World Cup the entire time this year. And that was some exciting stuff, man. And to lose that way in a penalty kick, it was crazy.
Well, so I was at the golf tournament, which we'll get into here in a minute, I think. Father-son deal. And Bob Herrig. You know Bob?
I know the name.
ESPN for years. He's with SI now. St. Pete guy. He used to do college football for a long time, years ago. So he follows the sport well. He is like watching it. He doesn't even know the rules. I'm listening to him and he's like, oh, you can't like touch the ball in the penalty area. Like that ends up being a penalty kick. Like he didn't realize if he handballed it in the deal, it was a penalty kick. Like he knew you couldn't touch the ball. I mean, he wasn't that ignorant, but so he was a total neophyte compared to even me who doesn't watch soccer. And he was into it, man, riveted. He some people, now this one thing, Shane, that I get a little upset in our profession with, because I'm into history, I'm into all the perspective and, things like that. There are probably guys coming on the beat never heard of you, honestly. I hate to say it, but like they were new. Some kid could come onto the beat next year and be like, Shane Matthews, who Shane Matthews?
There's a million of those people that don't know who I am. I look, there are people that are on the Florida football team. There were people that I at a dinner I was at that some of these kids didn't even know who Tim Tebow was.
There you go. So
because even though I think Tim's more popular now because he's on SEC Nation, but a lot of these athletes don't watch those shows. Believe it or not, they don't. And these are people that work with these athletes on a daily basis, basically equipment guys and trainers. And I forgot the whole story, but they're like, yeah, they had no idea who Tim Tebow was. Well, these guys playing at the University of Florida.
My point is it's historical perspective. It's this recency bias, they call it. There are people tweeting after that game, I'm talking within minutes, greatest sporting event ever, greatest championship ever played. I'm not saying let's let it settle and we can talk about and have that discussion sometime. But that's the impact it made on the sporting world yesterday. And I will say Lionel Messi, I mean, we're looking at like a Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan type figure there. That guy, man, unbelievable. And some longevity to boot.
Yes, for sure.
All I got to say about that.
Real quick.
Sure.
I'm going to answer this real quick if I can get it back up, and then we're going to talk about the golf tournament you just covered with Tiger. Scott says, take a look around other first-year coaches' results and compare it to ours. Gator fans are concerned with a 30-year-old DC and offense going nowhere, and the thing just got – I have no concerns right now. You could talk to me next year. Like I told you, next year, I always said year 3 was going to be important. Next year is going to be very, very important. We'll talk then. Get back, just watch the show all year long, Scott, and then we'll discuss that next year. All right, the father-son golf tournament, although there were some females playing in this thing as well. It's a pretty cool event, right?
Well, yeah, and you said female, so Annika played with her son.
Did Nelly Corda play?
Nelly played with her dad, Peter, who's like a Grand Slam champion tennis player. I mean, he won Australian Open at least a time or two. But Annika played with her 11-year-old, Will McGee. So there was a scene in the locker room the other day. Jordan Spieth said they were in there, you know, getting dressed, whatever. Gary Player still plays in this event, 87 years old, and Will were in the locker room simultaneously and met. So you have an 87-year-old and an 11-year-old playing in the same event. That's pretty cool.
And Charlie's what, 13? Charlie Woods?
Charlie's 13. I tell you, Charlie is growing up, man. This kid is getting like, he's already getting like shoulders. I mean, he's getting like jacked, man. I mean, it's like, he's a small dude. I mean, he's not tall, but he's going to have a growth spurt clearly someday. It's great to see Tiger around him. He is so proud. He's tickled by the guy. I mean, it's really touching to see. He made a putt on like the 13th hole yesterday. I was following the back nine, and it's about to get in there, and he's like anticipating it, ready to fist pump it. And you see Tiger kind of pulling his hat down and chuckling, like, as he didn't want to like laugh like for the cameras too much, but it was just kind of sweet to see. I mean, you're a father, so you understand all that. But yeah, it's a great event, and you know, it's low key. And I was saying to you before we got on there, even the teams that are struggling are shooting 15 under over 2 days. I mean, they make it look so easy, man. And the Singhs, Vijay Singh and Koss, I guess is how you say it. They won. They shot 59-59. That's, you know, two guys playing the ball. You know, they're each playing their own ball scramble. And they're like, oh, it's just a resort course. It's easy. That course would eat my lunch. I do those in balls everywhere.
Yeah. So did they play for, obviously they play for a purse. Does the money go to them or to a charity?
It goes to them, 200,000 to the winners. It's a nice little Christmas bonus. Everyone wins something.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's a good event. I mean, Tiger and his kid were the show. I mean, they drew everybody's eye, not everyone, but they drew a lot of the eyeballs. The field's great. I mean, Spieth was in it. Justin Thomas, Mike Thomas, and played with the Woodses, and they're good family friends. In fact, Mike Thomas might work with the kid, Charlie Swing, a little. Tiger's the main coach, but Mike Thomas has coached Justin. That's it. Justin Thomas has never been coached by anybody except his dad. His dad's got a nice move on the golf ball. His dad's good. But you know, Justin is so fun to watch. He might be my favorite player to watch out there. He hit so many great shots. And Tiger's hitting the ball, man. I talked to Bones. I pulled Bones off to the side afterwards. Jim McKay, the caddy, Phil's longtime caddy. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, Bones, how much has Charlie improved in the year? He's like, man, his speed is up. He's like, and you look at his hands, he's going to grow into those hands. He's got big hands. And he said he's going to get faster and faster. And I said, okay, Tiger, is he still, forget the leg? I mean, he's limping around. He's got plantar fasciitis now in this leg that he almost lost in the car accident in February 2021. We all know the story. So he's limping around a little bit. He still smokes the ball. I mean, his speed is he's still got 175 plus ball speed, which is incredible to think. But I mean, he's so put together. He's so built. So I said to Jim or Bones, I'm like, you take out the leg, the not being able to walk. I mean, that's a big part of golf, obviously, tournament golf. Is he a top 25 player still? He's like, way higher. He's like, he hits shots and still has a skill set that like only a few guys in the game still have. He's just a remarkable golfer, period. Yeah, we know that. No question. He's been dropping that thing in the slot, man, for 40 some years. I mean, he just makes it look easy.
He does. Hey, Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. Speaking with Edgar Thompson from the Orlando Sentinel, we're going to switch gears and talk football real quick, Edgar.
Yeah, I have a question for you real quick.
Yeah.
I have one for you. How was your golf?
It was good. We played Southern Highlands, which is up in the mountains. JC Deacon got us on. It was awesome. It was cold as crap, about 38, 40 degrees. I was miserable, but it was beautiful. I had to get a rental club, so they were a little short, but hit the ball pretty well. It was fun. It was definitely worth playing. It was
JC's
beautiful
a
golf.
good man.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Scott says here, nobody wants Billy to blast players. Quit wasting 10 minutes of the presser talking about the respect he has for their opponents and tell us how he's going to fix our problems. Okay. Again, every coach talks about their opponent. You haven't found one coach that's ever not giving positive results for their opponent. How he's going to fix the problem? We're hoping he fixes the problem by getting us good players and them coaching well. It's that simple. There's nothing where you can just punch a button and bam, you're a good football team. So Edgar, do you want to expand on that at all? Because I think it's Scott or maybe a couple other listeners. They're tired of they want Billy to blast players when they don't play well. I was like, I've never heard a coach blast a player publicly.
I mean, there might be the occasional criticism. Like I remember Urban, what was his name? Keystone Moore talked about him fumbling or something in a press conference. And we're like, ooh, that's pretty good stuff. Cause no one, a coach ever mentions a player by name ever, but he was using us as a conduit to the kid. Like, you better clean up the fumbling. But no, look, Billy, we get what his messaging is. He wants to create this family, this brotherhood, this team, that they're all in this thing together. And that's something he's going to sell to recruits. You're going to come here and have life-changing experience. We've talked about this on the show many times. That's what he's about. You're going to come here and get an education. You're going to come here and have a positive life experience. It isn't all going to be just about grinding and winning football games. So that's where he's coming from. I respect that. We'll see if it works. But I'll tell you, man, I get fan frustration. It's tough to watch what we saw the other day. I mean, that was rough.
Terrible. It was terrible.
It was a brutal performance. It's all the same stuff too, Shane. It's like third down D was atrocious. They get burned on special teams again. The halftime adjustments, I don't know if it's adjustments, but they keep coming out in the third quarter and they were outscored 13-0.
Here was the biggest problem in that entire game.
They couldn't protect
the offensive line got their ass beat down. We could not run the football, Edgar. No. They control the line of scrimmage like nobody we played this year controlled it. Now, whether that's because Osiris Torrance was out, I just have a hard time believing one guy on an offensive line. I mean, he's a huge difference. Don't get me wrong, but you got four other guys there, and they just got manhandled. I mean, manhandled. I said at halftime, I don't want us to run one more running play because they were in the backfield before we could turn around and hand the ball off. I said, we can't protect throwing it, but we got a better chance of advancing the ball through the air. So it was just, it was terrible. The penalties were horrible. It was just, we're 12-14 in the last 2 years. We are who we are. I don't know what else to say.
Well, it's just, it's such a tough way for Billy to go into the offseason. I don't know that just impact this recruiting class in 2 days that they're going to sign. I don't expect it will. I don't know if they got every one of these guys locked in for sure. And if they're going to flip another guy, or maybe not even flip, if they're going to get anyone else. It's a solid class right now, but it's just a tough way to end, man. 3 straight losses, just looking horrible. So he's got to deal with this for months, man. And then next season, nothing he does it's going to be such under the microscope. And until he strings some good wins together, I don't mean beating McNeese State or whoever the heck they got next year, good wins. People aren't going to be believers. People aren't going to believe him.
We have to, it's a must that we win minimum of 8 games next year. I told JC, I said, I'm tired of people talking about the great job Mark Stoops has done, and he has. But we should never, ever lose to Missouri, Vandy, South Carolina, or Kentucky ever again. Florida should never lose to those 4 teams. Those should be guaranteed wins every year. And that's where we got to get the program back, where we can walk out on the field, roll the ball out, and know we're beating those teams no matter what. People have asked me, because I said in year 3 he'd have the roster the way he wants it. I still believe that. I said, but we have to, as you just stated, next year is so crucial. If we don't win 8 or 9 games next year, we got big problems.
People, yes, and people, again, Shane, and you're following my point. He's just going to be going uphill with a lot of the fan base for a long time, until he like strings some wins together and, you know, doesn't catch maybe a lightning in the bottle win like Utah this year that gave everyone so much hope, false hope, but he can do that. But he's going to have to string some wins together and beat those teams like you're supposed to beat, like you say, and, you know, beat some rivals. They were 0-4 against the rivals, first guy to do that. And it's just been rough in every way. You lose to Vandy. It's just been tough. And he walked into a tough situation, but I mean, it's almost like worse now in perception wise. I'm not saying, look, this is a good recruiting class. I pulled it up. There are some good pieces in this class. This Kelby Collins is good. Mizell and Eugene Wilson are really good receivers that bring different aspects. Dijon Thompson, I mean, Kearney, Jakeem Jackson. I mean, they got pieces. It's Cameron James. I mean, these are good D linemen. They're good DBs. They're good receivers. I mean, these are positions they need to get guys at. Will Norman. I mean, the list goes on. This is a good class. So
yeah, I mean,
another piece or two, but
signing day is Wednesday, correct?
Yeah, and then I mean, you got the transfer portal that I'm even forgetting about. They are getting a transfer portal quarterback. I know a couple of names. I'm not throwing them out here right now because I don't want to, but people probably have heard a lot of these. They got a couple of guys who people would be excited about. But you got to get him in the door. And after the other day, it's like, hey, come play for us. It's like, hold on, man. That was brutal.
Yeah. So my thoughts are Wednesday, and I don't even know who they're signing because I don't follow recruiting. This roster will be improved over this past year on Wednesday by Wednesday night. There's no question about that.
No question.
Then the transfer portal, they will periodically add players. Again, they are bringing in a quarterback, but whoever they bring in is not in the transfer portal yet because they still have to play their game.
Yep, exactly.
So, yeah. Chris says here 70% of the roster will be Napier's guys next year. Yeah, I haven't looked at it, but it's going to be quite a few. So, I understand everybody's all up in arms, and maybe if we don't play that bowl game, people aren't as down as they are. But
they should have opted out, man.
Well, it's still good. It's good for the money. It's good. It was a good trip for the kids. It's all about the experience. But in the big picture, it means absolutely nothing. And because we were still 6-6, that's who we are. We are 12-14 in the last 2 years. I don't care who the coach was. I don't care who the players were. That's y'all's damn record, and it ain't good enough.
Well, hey, look, man, you're right. You got to play Southern Highlands or whatever the hell. And the kids did have a fun time. I tell you, that Tariq Sapp thing with him dancing with the Elvis impersonator is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Go watch that, fans. It's only a little Twitter clip. He's such a great kid, man. He's got so much personality. I like a lot of the kids on this team. I mean, as kids, and hopefully they get it figured out, man. I like Billy. I mean, Billy, he's a gentleman. He's respectful. He's a hard worker. Mike Bianchi wrote a column after the game that was pretty optimistic. And he said, here's the thing. If he can't figure it out, nobody can. But if he can't get it, he's like, look, this guy is going to be organized. He's got resources. He's going to bust his tail. We know he works. I talked to him 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago or whatever. He called me. He was in the 6th city of the day. And he's just like energized, man. He's like, I love doing this. You think Dan Mullen ever talked about being in the 6th city of the day, loving it? I'm not saying Dan didn't have things he loved about coaching, but that wasn't one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, people, I just don't know what people expected. I understand they look at Sonny Dykes and they look at Lincoln Riley, but those are a little bit different. Maybe not Sonny Dykes, but Max Duggan was a pretty good player, and Caleb Williams is the Heisman Trophy winner, and they brought in other big time names, Bolitnikoff Award winners, people like that in the transfer portal that got SC rolling, and they didn't play in a hard league either. So I think next year's crucial. It's definitely crucial, and so I think we'll just have to wait and see. But Edgar, good stuff as always, buddy. I appreciate you last minute hopping on. I know you had a big weekend in Orlando, and that had to be fun. And I'm glad you had a good time watching the golf.
Yeah, appreciate it. It was a good time, man.
All right. Van Der says this, and we'll leave it at this. The only thing that Billy has shown us is he cannot coach at this level. Again, Van Der, that's your opinion. I have my opinion. Edgar has his opinion. Everybody has their opinion. I said at the beginning of the year, with the talent that I watched at training camp and during the spring, if we went 6-6, it would be a solid year. We went 6-6. Now we lost our bowl game. I'm not counting that. So that doesn't tell me he can't coach. Again, he wouldn't have been sought after by pretty much all the major universities in America when their jobs came open if he couldn't coach. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, may I say one thing?
Yeah.
He was 7-7 at Louisiana his first year, and then was 33-5 the next three. So the track record is there that he can turn this thing around. I have questions too. I think it's only fair to have questions.
Yeah.
I think we'd be stupid not to. Oh,
Correct.
God, it's going great. Don't worry about it. But he has the track record. He was pursued for a number of jobs in the SEC, and he's got a plan. He's got the resources, and he's got the work ethic, and we'll see if he can pull it off, man. But it's a long road ahead for him. We do know that after Saturday.
No doubt about it. Edgar, appreciate it, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. Happy holidays.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
That's Edgar Thompson. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline. Hope you enjoyed today's program. We ran out of time very quickly. You've been watching Pot Up with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Take care.